Hey guys, hello and welcome to this YouTube series. I'm Manisha Gupta and we are talking about cryptocurrencies because they have hit an all-time high yet again in this week. It's more than a 1 trillion industry now globally. We have seen more big, important, influential names now associate with cryptocurrencies, and that is the reason you have seen all of these cryptocurrencies run up. So Bitcoin has taken up $50,000 per Bitcoin. We have seen 70% to 250% of gains come in for many of these cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ether, XRM, Ripple, Stellar for that example. And the big names is something that we've come in every 24 hours. It has been about MasterCard, which says that they are now looking to associate themselves with the Bitcoin there. They will support select cryptocurrencies directly on its network later this year. We also have seen reaction of the Bitcoin on Tesla, which has announced that $1.5 billion of an investment is what they have made in Bitcoin, and also that they have plans to accept the Pioneer cryptocurrency as a mode of payment as well. We also have arms of Morgan Stanley, look into some investments directly or indirectly when it comes to cryptocurrencies. There have been bigger names like Square, which also bought into Bitcoin as an investment. You have Visa, which has approved Visa branded Bitcoin rewards credit and debit cards here. We also have bigger names like Square. It also has been about hedge funds. It is about important conventional banks in US as well, who have started talking about being a banker to some of those chosen cryptocurrencies now. Well, even as this is happening in the international markets, you have bigger and bigger names getting associated with the Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies. The Indian markets, in the meanwhile, are still awaiting clarity from the government here. There is a bill that has been presented or put into the parliament already, which talks about banning all private cryptocurrencies. There is still some clarity on what private cryptocurrencies means, even as the cryptocurrencies may not be allowed as a tender of payment, but is trading going to be allowed into that. In the meanwhile, the government also has talked about laying groundwork for an official digital currency. Now, this is something many other global markets already are looking at. Central banks in US, Canada, Singapore and China are talking about CBDCs or central bank backed digital currencies, where a lot of work already has begun. Whether or not it's going to be legal or not is a big question mark right now, but more and more Indian participants really seem to be joining in. As per the latest count, more than 10 million Indians have bought some form of shape of cryptocurrencies, and their values are higher than $1 billion in the Indian markets itself. And the number really seems to be increasing on a year-on-year basis and a month-on-month basis as well. So it's not just about the big name corporates or banks which are associating themselves with cryptocurrencies. It is a slew of well-known asset management firms, hedge funds, pension funds as well, which are now aligning themselves with cryptocurrencies. To give some of the names here is really ARK Investments. They have invested in Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. You have MicroStrategy, which is a prominent business analytical platform, by the way. It's adopted Bitcoin as a primary reserve, and it produces mobile software and cloud strategies. Morgan Stanley has purchased 10.9% of this firm, which is MicroStrategy. So as I said, investments directly or indirectly is what the street is really looking at. There is also an asset manager, RUFFER Investment Company. It's a London-based traditional finance firm, which is also hopped onto the Bitcoin bandwagon. There are also 3iQ's Bitcoin Fund, which is listed on the Toronto Stock Exchange. It was listed in April 2020. So you can, if you are in Canada, you can buy Bitcoins or other cryptocurrencies via the registered hedge funds there. And it is really endless when you look at the influential names here which have bought into Bitcoin, whether it's Paul Tudor Jones or Stan Druckenmiller or Bill Miller. They have put their reserves or bought into Bitcoin in one way or the other. We are also talking about global cryptocurrency futures exchanges as well. So while of course there are cryptocurrency exchanges, then there are futures exchanges as well. And some of the big names here also are CME. You also have the ICE or the Intercontinental Group launch cryptocurrency futures exchange by the name of BACT. You have CBOE Global Markets also launch a futures exchange. And then there are some Ivy League universities as well. These are all reports really, and one of them suggests that in 2019, Harvard University reportedly backed a Blockstack Inc., a blockchain company that boasted of an upcoming token sale. Again, these are reports which have been put out by various international agencies suggesting that it's not just Harvard, but you also have Stanford University, Dartmouth College, University of North Carolina, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, which also are not just looking at courses in blockchain and cryptocurrencies, but also have invested some of their funds or endowed into a few of these cryptocurrencies there. Also, when you look at Bitcoin exchange traded products, they have hit record volumes as of last year and continue to see their funds grow in the month of Jan and now in Feb as well. There are some countries and some cities like Florida, Miami, which has allowed cryptocurrencies as a form of payment. So it is about countries, it's about cities, it's about exchanges who are allowing or encouraging this. There are a lot of enthusiasts when you look at cryptocurrencies. You have crypto index funds, you have crypto ETFs as well, within which you can trade in cryptocurrencies. So while the world clearly is growing and we are looking at market share growing as well when it comes to investors or participants who are trying to be part of this sector, as I said, in India, we are still awaiting more clarity here. The bill is proposed, presented. There are lots of conversations around it, a lot of proposals that economists are writing about in or against when it comes to cryptocurrencies, legalities into the Indian markets, whether it would be partially banned, whether it would be fully banned, whether it would be allowed with some caveats and some clauses here is something that the Indian markets are waiting and watching out for. But even before that, within that, you haven't seen a lot of sell-off coming into the markets. People are holding on to cryptocurrencies with hopes that even if a ban does come, there would be enough time given to the Indian participants or investors to liquidate this or convert it into global exchanges, because most of the Indian exchanges have partnerships with global exchanges. So in what form, shape will the trading happen in India is still a question mark here. But even as we are awaiting that clarity, the international markets have seen big names, as I said, corporates, institution funds, hedge funds, banks try and associate with this decentralized monetary system which runs on blockchain. So we still are awaiting on what really happens there. But in the meanwhile, as I said, the international markets clearly taking a leap ahead on this one.